played Teamer Energy today to test for a local event this weekend, but I found out the prize support isn't quite as good as I thought, so therefore I will not be going to it. And we're going to go back and test Bay again. There's no changes to this list as the previous two times we played this deck. Went 4-1 in both of those leagues. I felt pretty comfortable with the deck list in general. I would not mind one more Ether Meltdown, and I would not mind one more Approach of the Second Sons, and I wouldn't mind two Ixalan's Bindings in the sideboard, but I really don't know what to cut for them. The deck list is pretty tight as it is. We've added the 3rd and 4th Supreme Will back to the deck, and they've been performing. The Settle the Wreckage has actually been performing lately. It's actually less the Settle the Wreckage, because like every time I cast a Settle the Wreckage I cringe, but just more having 7 Wrath effects has been really nice. And I can't play Hour of Revelation and Cast Out. So, I don't know what else to do to the deck. The mono red match still feels a little iffy. Some of the post board matches still feel a little iffy. Maybe we can shave like 1 cat, 1 authority, and add possibly 2 Sun Scourge champions. I no longer bring in Torrential Gearhulk versus Blue Black because of the Scarab God threat, so maybe the Gearhulks in general can go, but like, I do like Gearhulks. I bring them in versus all of the Teamer decks that are not 4-color, and I bring them in versus a few of the other mid-range decks. I bring them in versus most decks that I bring in Negate versus, like Abzan tokens. Bring them in a mirror match. Just anything that doesn't have Scarab God. That big auto host from Chris. Appreciate it. This hand's fine. It's a fairly snap keep. Trying to open up a web page on the other browser to look at something, and I can't. Alright, well, this is very likely Teamer stuff happening over here. It's kind of odd. He doesn't have any more energy. He doesn't get energy from that, so why get the 1 counter? I mean, I can understand getting it in a minute or two when you have more energy, but like, what if I just untapped him, cast a Gideon, and played it on this, then he wasted 2 energy? I think it's better. Hey, Loki the Tricky. What it is, homie? Hope everything is going quite well for you. See, like, it makes sense that you could attack with it this time, and you actually gain energy, but last time just didn't seem to do anything. And if I'd had a Gideon, you just wasted 2 energy. But we have double Wrath here, and we have a Glimmer Genius, so things are going well. Hey, Ricky the Gobly. Yes, I said Gobly. Yeah, I slept. I slept well. Went to bed about 2 a.m. Woke up about 9 a.m. Esper Tokens is a quality list, but I'm still a giant fan of Abzan, and I think Abzan is a better deck. But I've not really tested enough to say either of those things definitively. Just none of the blue cards have ever felt like they've mattered for me when I played the one list. I just want F6. Like how I said, I just want F6. Certainly don't want you. You're kind of a tutor. I'll take the tutor. The Scarab God is insane, but I think it's win more. I don't think you need cards like that to win with that deck. I feel like it's a backup plan at best, and I don't think the deck wins a lot with it. What the hell? Oh, hey! Hey Brian, what's up, man? Hope everything's going well with you. I appreciate the sub. You are the man now, dog, as they say. I still don't understand these attacks. Like, he's just spending energy here. He's not actually getting any energy back. He's not doing any damage. And like, if I just like untap and have a Gideon or something like that, then he's wasted this 4 energy for nothing. But he's done it twice now, so like, even if he didn't understand it the first time, he certainly understands it this time. I could care less about his creatures. I would rather have Dazcanta. We have a Fumigate if we ever do decide to take damage. We have 6 cards in our graveyard. I think we're just going to go ahead and Fumigate this board. I truly appreciate it. Glorybringer, not a Glorybringer. Oh wow, commit to memory. I mean, sure. I think commit to memory is pretty good, but like, and he probably clearly had to do it, but it's not something I cared that he did. Like, I'm going to draw X number of Wraths back, so. Makes me pretty happy I fumigated now, though. Well, those things are real threats. We're going to Glimmer before we decide whether we're going to Wrath or whether we're going to use a Meltdown or whatever. Well, yeah, I'm just thinking out loud too. Like I stated, I've not tested enough to come to a definitive conclusion about the matter, but it's just not. It's not felt like I needed those things. Why did he leave 4 mana up? River's Rebuke something I only want in the mirror, and I think Verasca and Cast Outs and stuff like that the Abzan build has already gives me a lot of leeway in the mirror. We'll go ahead and do this now. Gives us more options. I think we're looking for a Cast Out more than anything. So apparently I have to tap 1 blue mana because I'm dumb. Well, that's not good. Nissa might run away with the game a little bit. Oh, okay. Hello, Cast Out. How are you? I've actually not played a build that's had the Search for Azcanta in it yet. I was still playing treasure maps in the one build I did play. I thought the Champion of Wits was the worst card in the deck the 2 times I did play it though, because like I was afraid to leave it and or cast it versus any single deck that had Scarab God. And like the Scarab Gods are what I consider my best matches already. So if like none of the blue cards make me, if all of the blue cards, in my opinion, make me worse versus Scarab God decks, like it seems like I don't want that. But what do I know? Like I said, I've not tested enough to really know. I just know we've had a lot of success with the Abzan build, and we did 5-0 with the Esper build, and we played very poorly when we 5-0'd with the Esper build. Like, but it didn't feel like it did anything. We usually 4-1 with the Abzan build. I think we went 9-1 with Esper. Not played it a whole lot. Well, why thank you, James. I just don't want this thing. By the way, that was Nissa main deck. Anybody notice that was Nissa main deck? Whoops. We're kind of just spinning our heels here. We still haven't got an approach, even though he's like made us reshuffle and draw 7. Don't. I think the mono red match is so bad that I would never want to play blue white in a real event. Luckily, I just don't think it matters. Despite him having negates, I really don't think anything he does ever matters. Bottom. Still no approach. Game 1's so good that we can sit here and spin our tires for literal ever. But if he doesn't have hard counter spells, he will not win Game 1. Unless, anytime that we get an average draw. Obviously, you can get mana screwed or something and lose any match, but like Game 1's not losable if you actually get to play the game. Don't want out of review. We'll find one of those approaches at some point. Well, now we've gone 30 cards deep. More than that if you include Disguise to the bottom. Well, there's a search for Azcanta. That's just game. Game closes pretty quickly with search for Azcanta. If he's got Nissas in his main deck, we may actually have to sideboard in negates, which I normally do not sideboard in negates in this match because I think they could be dead draws. Yes. Did we just put you in the graveyard? Yes. Apparently we did just put you in the graveyard. I love the fact that you can play 2 of those like that. Yeah, opponent's done. Yeah, they want any Planeswalker versus us. Even if the ultimate never does anything, the fact that it can come down so early and constantly smooth your draws makes it really good for you. Anyway, like I said, Game 1 is incredibly hard to lose. Game 2 and 3 is much harder. Typically in Game 2 and 3, I bring in cats. Sorry, get your ass over there, Scarab God. I like Scarab Gods when I know for a fact, I like Torrential Gearhulks when I know for a fact that they're not playing Scarab God. And where we got to settle the Wreckage Dome and stuff that game, and they never dug a swamp out, you can pretty well say that they don't have that in their hand, or don't have that in their deck, which makes all 10 of these cards reasonable. Now, an issue of these 10 cards being reasonable is there is at no point ever that we have 10 cards to sideboard out. Scarab God is on my mind because the card's frighteningly hard to beat. In general, the cards that I've typically found the worst in this match are like the blue counter spells because you're generally on the draw having to deal with whatever's on the board and don't have time to play these early counter spells. Also, they have negates and stuff like that, so it's easy for them to get to like 4 mana, play a Lone Tusk Cub, you spend your 3 mana, play a Supreme Will, and them have a negate or whatever. So those are typically some of the first cards I sideboard out here. Now since we saw we had Nissa, it makes me kind of want the negates, but I don't think there's anything in our deck worse than negate. Kind of want a Gearhulk or two, though. Gearhulk plays really well with Settled Wreckage, but we don't have Farm to Market in our deck anymore. I'm not going to sideboard out a Cast Out. We've already saw one Planeswalker, and we know they're going to have some Chandras. We'll just go with our normal sideboard plan. Nothing special. We're not going to change anything up. We may bring some of the Supreme Wills back in on the play. It sounds pretty reasonable. Generally, winning and losing post-board games depends on how many negates they draw. You typically beat one negate, but if they draw like 2 negates in the top 15 or 20 cards, it's really hard to beat. Luckily, a lot of these builds have been shaving negates for like Essence Scatters and things of that nature, which, while good, aren't nearly as good in the retrospect as negate versus you. Hey, we have a very good card in this match. Would censor literally anything that we can censor. Because anything that we could censor that turn gives him some amount of energy for this card, and if it's like Rogue Refiners, they replace themselves, etc. This hand's shaping up okay. We're going to have to hit another land, but we'll probably have a couple turns to do it unless he untaps and has Bristling Hydra. Yeah. Opponent still is attacking that Lone Tusk Cub every single turn. Almost makes me... I'm a conspiracy theorist here, but that almost makes me think the opponent's just like a bot. He doesn't attack with it to turn that I can have settle and help him out. That's kind of odd. Alright. Do you have a negate? You do not have a negate. We'll keep the land and not the cast out for now. We have a whole bunch of Wrath of Gods, so we kind of like have to fade Chandra. Just gonna go ahead and play this. We have multiple Settled Wreckage and Effort Meltdown. Don't care if he Supreme Wills it. No, we left Essence Scatters in versus us. Well, that means we're probably sideboarding out the Catsin and bringing in some negates. Probably sideboarding out Kitties and bringing in some negates if he's leaving in the Essence Scatters. Hey, Elliot Gamer Kid, I appreciate the follow. Welcome to the family. I could Fumigate here, but if I Fumigate and he has a second Glorybringer, we lose to Gideon. So I'm just going to play this and keep up Settled Wreckage in case he has a second Glorybringer. Like, I put a fairly large stock on the Gideon. Bristling Hydra, sure. He either A, didn't have a Glorybringer, or B, chose not to play it. Either way, I'm pretty happy with the decision we made. Kind of threw away an Effort Meltdown, but... But just protecting Gideon seems pretty good, especially when we still have 3 board wipes in our hand. do have to dodge planeswalkers, though. We don't have anything to beat a Chandra at the moment. Well, I mean, you know, except attacking it with our Gideon. Yeah. We have these for days. Whee! Play best card. Our opponent's gonna get annoyed and scoop here in a minute. Wait for it. No, there's a Chandra. So Chandra and a Glimmer? Okay. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. Probably will need to find another Supreme Verdict then. Yes, we'll put the planes in the graveyard and flip this so that we can use it. Oh. Come on, deck. I thought we were going to have to think for a second. Paladin in the back. I thought we were going to have to think for a second and make a decision. No. We play this deck to not make decisions, apparently. Okay. We have no Torrential Gearhulks in our deck, so we're not going to be bringing them in now that we see this either. I've got a Russian foil one of those in my trade binder. Done a lot of work for me in years past. Well. Meow. Get rid of the bigger one. We could have just drew another card and kept looking for search since opponent's down to one card, like we'd win that game assuredly, but we're pretty safe regardless. It's kind of an interesting attack. He's attacking both at the Gideon too. I think our opponent's just giving up at this point. I value my cats more than his Rogue Refiner, especially when we have a Gideon in play that can like lock down the Rogue Refiner. Well, let's start attacking with our 4-turn clock, I guess. Is this a Torrential Gearhulk? Oh my! It's a Torrential Gearhulk! And he's got a Glimmer in his graveyard. So he's got Gearhulks, Tyrants, and Death Scourger Scavengers? Opponent has a lot of things in his deck. Opponent has like a whole lot of stuffs in his deck. Don't count on it. Will MTG Bot take over Twitch? Don't count on it. Well, we're up to 30 viewers like instantly. What is this? Is this a big... Oh, this is a giant Nissa or something, isn't it? That is in fact a giant Nissa. Yeah. Well, opponent is doing many things. Will Ray go to... Without a doubt. That 8-ball lied to you so hard, I am not even going to play a qualifier for that event. I guess we'll keep this one. Will we 5-0 today? No, sir. Alright. The 8-ball can disagree all at once. The 8-ball is wrong. It's kind of odd that he looked at the top card at random last turn and then he scried this turn. I guess I'll take the cast out just in case he has something. To end a turn, Gideon gets the turn sideways. Hey, Gideon, you do your thing, boo. Go get him. There's another just like a random gear hook. If I had access to all the top tier decks, what would I play in a GP? Well, I believe Temur is the best deck, and I believe it's the best deck by a lot. But I do not pilot Temur particularly well. I seem to run kind of bad with it. So I would probably steer away from it just in those regards. I'm starting to wonder if I sideboarded out cards that I know I didn't sideboard out. So I'd probably shy away from it just because of that. Which means I'd probably play Blue-White Approach. It's the deck I know the best. And I'd probably expect to lose. I would expect to have to run hotter than the sun and not get paired versus many mono red players, or to like draw particularly well versus the mono red players. I'd probably expect some kind of like X and 2 or X and 3 day one, probably 3 to 5 losses on the event. Oh, whoops! I went too fast. That was a punt. Wasn't supposed to flip that. Just clicked the buttons too fast. I mean, it doesn't matter, but still a mistake. Also should be tapping the Rivulet here. Doesn't matter, we win next turn either way, but like still it was a punt. I mean, I guess he could draw a negate or something and maybe we don't win next turn. Just so I can press F6. But yeah, that was definitely a punt. Yeah, well, we got paired versus another Temur opponent. We beat another Temur opponent. I don't know. I might play Black Red Aggro. I believe Black Red Aggro is in a pretty good spot. I think it's a slight favorite versus tokens, especially if they're not playing Sacred Cats, which I believe all the token decks should be cutting Sacred Cats out of their deck. It just doesn't do anything versus too many of the real matches. I think it's good versus blue black. I think it's a slight favorite versus blue white approach. I think it loses to Teamer. But with the 4 Bantu's Reckoning sideboard package, like maybe I can like gimp a couple of opponents. I have saw it, and I am interested in playing it, though. By the way, welcome, Giovanni. Yeah, Giovanni. Giovaz, sorry. I think it looks interesting, but I think it's just weaker in approach in general. Especially now that, like, cast outs are more popular because the token decks are around, and there's more enchantment removal. Like, there's even a lot of the Teamer decks now. So this hand's a fairly loose keep, but we have 2 lands, we have a draw step, and we had double censor. So I think it was worth it. This is not the type of hand that will ever beat mono red, but then again, this deck doesn't beat mono red very often, especially pre-board on the draw. Pre-board on the play, you're probably like 40%, you have a chance, but pre-board on the draw is pretty miserable. Luckily, he didn't have a good 2-drop, and he didn't have a good 1-drop, so that gives us some chance. Yeah. Could have held the censor, I guess, in case he had a shock, but preventing 2 damage doesn't feel like it matters. It does seem pretty interesting, though, and at some point I probably will play it, because even if I have general opinions about things, I like to test them to like confirm in my mind whether I'm right or wrong. Yes, my life total is low enough that I'm putting an Effort Meltdown on a Soulscar Mage. Rip. Could held up mana and censored that, but like he doesn't have to cast it, and a good player wouldn't cast it in that spot. Alright, I'll pass. Every match was real close. Mana Screwed was the only thing that wrecked me for sure. I just woke up because I felt disturbance in the forest. Yeah, Teamer's the best deck. I just do not play it well. Hey, there's a Harsh Mentor. You should, like, cast that. It's a point of life for us. He did not cast that. Rip. So we're pretty dead here. I don't know if anybody else knows that, but, like, don't even know what we could draw. Neither of those things. I guess both cards in his hand can be lands, and we draw a cast out, and he draw a land, and he put a land in his hand with that. That's a whole lot of ifs, right? Because now we're going down to 4. Land in a Hazoret kills us. That and a Lightning Harness or a Cropper kills us. Now we're at 2. Well, not dead yet. Alright, now we're dead. Yep, but anyway, this match, just like I said, isn't really winnable, especially on the draw. Like, he had a terrible hand, and nothing we did could have changed it. Like, maybe we hold up the censor and he plays this into it, but, like, that's unlikely, and we're not likely to be good enough to beat it if he plays it the turn after. So, like, you just kind of have to try to get lucky in those spots. Anyway, so you take out a whole bunch of bad blue cards in this match, and you bring in all of your white cards. Then you hopefully don't get far enough behind that you need to waste your cast out on a cycle. One land hand. We have our best card. We have a cycle. Hey, Boot. Doing well. Getting browned by mono red at the moment. I think this hand's almost a keep. Alright. I think this hand's a keep. I think being able to beat them revolves around so much on that card that you have to try to get lucky and like keep bad hands. We are playing 26 lands too, so we have a 25 into 53 chance to hit the land on turn 1. Hey, sometimes God loves you. But even if we missed the first land drop, we have the cycle spell for the next turn. That's a good one. The sad thing is that we've ran really well here, and like I still don't expect this to be good enough. No, don't lightning strike this. That's not a lightning strike. That's wonderful. That doesn't target planeswalkers. That's wonderful too. Ooh. So you're saying there's a chance. Yep. That seems completely reasonable with the meta right now. I've not gone that far yet with any of the builds I've thought about, but like it doesn't seem like a stretch to me at all. We'll know our deck really likes us if we draw an untapped land here. Yeah, we kept a one lander. Don't tell our opponent. Yeah, he's done. Alright. Well. Yeah, that just happened. that just happened. Kept the one lander. Play land drops turn 1 through 5. So going into the game 3, I think Supreme Will gets a little worse, but with the configuration of the sideboard that we're currently running and the configuration of the main deck we're currently running, I don't think there's any better cards in the sideboard. Occasionally games get grindy enough that Glimmer of the Genius is a real card, or Glimmer of Genius like does things, but like Supreme Will does basically the same thing in those matches. And Torrential Gearhulk's okay, but we don't know if he's sideboarded in a Braid. We've cut the farm to markets. It's 6 mana. We're on the draw. Basically, we just have to draw some number. We probably need to draw 2 of these cards that we can play by turn 3 to have much of a chance. But I don't think we changed anything. Maybe we don't need all 3 approaches, but so we have no real early interaction, but I guess we'll keep. We'd feel pretty decent about this hand on the play, but on the draw, it's not very good. And he's got his best 1-drops, so he's already off to the best start he's had in these 3 games. We do not have a authority, so we probably can't win, but I believe the hand's too strong to mulligan in general. He could still have a really bad draw and it be enough. We do have a cast out for a Chandra. We have a settle for a, like a big attack or whatever. But like we're still already at a pretty low life. Like we're about to be at 13 and he's not even did anything. Really kind of want him to play a 3-drop here. That's not a 3-drop. Alright, I think our hand's weak enough now that we're going to go ahead and get rid of this. Still going to keep the sensor. That's a little unfortunate. Alright. One time for daddy. Get us an Effort Meltdown. That's not an Effort Meltdown. So we're taking 7 damage here, down to 6. He's going to draw 5 more cards with that. Well, he's going to draw 5 more cards with that if he orders them properly. May just get 4 if he doesn't order them quite properly. Hey, Pokemon fanboy, what it is? What are you into? My kingdom for him casting a Glorybringer right now. How wonderful would that be if he just like untapped and played Glorybringer? And then couldn't use his Beaumont Courier. No, we could not win the lottery. So he's not attacking with the other Cropper? That's interesting. So how does he order these? He ordered them wrong, so that's good for us. So he's going to draw 1 less card. But I mean, he's still drawing 4 cards and then a 5th card for his turn, so pretty SOL either way. And with us being at 6, I cannot imagine us living past this turn. Maybe there's some world where we didn't draw a bunch of haste threats. Oh. It's kind of weird. Alright, whatever. So I guess we're just going to ultimate this then. So that thing's going to at least prevent 4 damage. You know, if he doesn't have a... He's got to attack this, so we go down to 6. If we draw another 40, I guess we win, right? Have you seen we played Farm to Market for weeks. We had 2 Farm to Markets in our main deck for weeks. It's just another early interactive spell, and it plays well with Gearhulk because you can flashback either part of it with Gearhulk. The main deck doesn't... I would not put it in the sideboard. I don't really know why they did, but the main deck's pretty tight, and maybe they just felt they needed one more interactive spell. Alright, so if we play the approach, we go to 13, he uses that thing, we go to 11, the attack puts us at 7, so a Hazoret would kill us, but... if we play a Fumigate, we kill those 2... potentially still die to a Hazoret. Casting the approach gives us a chance to win. Not a lot, just getting brown by mono red. Alright, casting to approach actually gives us a chance to win, whereas the other card just stalls a turn and maybe doesn't win. I probably should more actively use my Field of Runes on these cards than I do. Oh, well, that's a hazard and we're just dead. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, we're dead. I'm confident he top decked that. He didn't. He 100% did not have that card. Didn't matter. Wasn't going to win, but still. I think we played the game well. Maybe we should have used the Field of Rune. Would have prevented 2 damage, but I don't know if that would have won the game. Well, we play first, and we snap keep. I'm not going to mulligan any hand ever versus a blind opponent that has 2 lands and a Search for Azcanta. I don't care what the other cards were. Like, these could be any 4 cards in the deck, and I would keep it. Versus a blind opponent, of course. Turns out these cards actually aren't very bad, but opponent's already on 5, and he put on top. It could be a mirror match. This hand is hot fire if it's a mirror match. Not a mirror match. Some kind of brew. Oh. Esper tokens? If we're meltdown to graveyard, yes. No land. Great. Well, this game went from unlosable to losable real quick. Anything that's not a land goes to the graveyard. I don't care what it is. Yes, cast out to the graveyard. Alright, well this will prevent a little damage. Yeah, I'll respond to all of it. I personally would not put the farm to market in the sideboard. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think it's not a card I put in the sideboard of anything. Hidden stockpile. Oh boy. I don't think Servo Expedition is good enough to be in that deck. Land in my sideboard? No. Or in my graveyard? No. I've only played Blue White Gift. Well, I played Esper Gift in exactly 1 league. And I made the worst play mistake that I've made on stream to date. It was a fun league. Yeah, well, opponent assembled Voltron before we found lands. We're keeping both lands. Can actually put things in the graveyard that are lands now. So game 1 versus Esper Gifts is typically very, very, very good for you. Game 2 and 3 get a little harder, depending on whether they play Lost Legacy and how many like interactive spells they play and things of that nature. Just like a number of variables come into. Nope. We'll draw that. A number of variables come into the post-board games. What's the chance? No chance to see vehicles today. Just going to play the one league today. Hey, new to the stream, and I play Blue White Approach, and I made a 2-2 split between. It actually isn't that bad. The hieroglyphics really smooth the mana early, and smoothing your mana is one of the most important things in this deck. So like, it's pretty reasonable. I even tried to build without Glimmer. I tried to build with 0 Glimmers once. Put an island into our graveyard. Yes. Do we want to flip this card? Why no? Because we know we're casting an approach this turn anyway, so we don't have the mana to use it. So opponent gets 2 more attack steps to beat us. It did not go well. But the theory was being, hey, thank you for following Masu Plamu. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. I apologize. The theory was that like I sideboard Glimmers out in so many matches anyway that like just having 4 ops to smooth the mana would be better, but it didn't work out. We got paired versus a lot of grindy matches. Yeah, that is true. Which is one of the reasons that I hate not having the 4th approach in the deck. Alright, well, opponent actually presented something that in theory could be lethal. The fact that he has 10 mana to our 7 when he plays many less lands is a little appalling. So we're probably going to have to find at least one more like board wipe or something. Jesus, man, stop playing spells and tapping mana and doing stuff. Just let us win. So let's start with this. Alright, so let's actually do the math. Does a cast out keep us alive for sure? 5, 6, 7, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we could cast out that. And it's not good enough. We will transform it this time. We may need the mana. So we have to get another turn. Yeah, I know. Let me read out the chat real quick. By the way, hello Necro for showing around. Hello Chex, Chilios, and Oren. I don't think I said hello to you guys. God, chat's going too fast. Cast out. Cast out gave us another turn, right? But the other turn didn't guaranteed win. It gave us an extra turn for sure, but the extra turn didn't guaranteed win the game. And I'd rather look for a card that can actually let us win the game. Right, because we know our so when we put the cast out in the graveyard, we know the one thing's 5 cards down. No, I guess it did let us win the game. That might have been a play. That was a play mistake by me. If it's 5 cards down, I could have cast out this, and then I could have used a Glimmer to win. Yeah, I made a play error. That's pretty bad of me. Hope I lose. Hope I get punished. I did not get punished. No, that was definitely a play mistake. I didn't think about it enough. Too busy talking with chat to actually do all the math. Ferengi, if you're talking about blue-black control with Scarab Gods, yes, I believe they are too much of a liability to bring in. I don't mind bringing in the cats because I don't care if they buy back a cat, but I do not bring in Gearhulks. I definitely don't bring in Gearhulks. The cats I don't care about, and I feel like I have to bring in something in case they're on Lost Legacy. I deserve to lose that game. I made a terrible mistake, and Tix was 100% right. By the way, thanks for following, Fernling. There's a Scarab God. One of the many things I could care less about this game. Whee! Oh. Even more not punished. Well, we knew we were drawing this, but that's beside the point. Glyph Keepers is nice. Kefnet's also nice. The problem with bringing in cards like Glyph Keeper and Kefnet is, what if they just Essence Scatter them and then still them with a Scarab God? Like, I don't want to bring in things that get Essence Scattered. Anyway, we did not get punished because we are the greatest around and nobody's ever going to take us down. Kinda don't like bringing in Torrential Gearhulks versus any deck that has Scarab Gods. They can't win versus Glyph. But if they win, they have to have... They probably do. They don't have enough cards to take them out. You discard and embalm them. How do you discard them? One, how do you get them in your graveyard? Because I never can discard the hand size. But two, they play 4 disallows. So, like, embalming them doesn't always work. Anyway, back to sideboarding. The Effort Meltdowns are terrible, the Gideons are terrible, even though the Gideons did do some amount of work that game. The Torrential Gearhulks typically aren't good enough. Feel like we need some scatters or some Regal Caracals to try to win like a game if they have Lost Legacy, because like we really can't beat Lost Legacy. I do not play Search for Tomorrow, or I do not play Pull from play Pull from Tomorrow or Farm Market, but yeah, I guess that would give you extra ways to discard them. I've found that with my farming markets that I can't even get them in my graveyard to use the second ability versus blue-black very often. Farming Market, by the way, is very good versus Glint Siphoner, which is blue-black's best card versus you. As for Search, I feel like if I have a Search in play, I already win. I feel like the game's just over if I already have a Search. I cannot tell you the last game I lost when I had a Search in play. I don't really want these cards. But I want something in case he has Lost Legacy. A little something, I guess. Yeah. But I just beat the blue-black decks with Millstone. I have my 4 Rivulets, and I can always beat the blue-black decks with my 4 Rivulets. Like that's my strategy versus the 4 versus blue-black. I am going to try to mill them out. I'm actually I'm thinking about adding some cards to the sideboard to help me mill them out. Rip. That was a good draw. Good turn 2 play. Shouldn't say good draw. He could have had it in his opening hand. I just meant it's a good turn 2 play. What is this? Lost Legacy. We'll certainly counterspell that because we can barely beat it. Probably not going to beat a Lost Legacy if they have a hidden stockpile in play. I consider blue-black one of my best matches. That's potential, Deep 2. I've heard rumors of people using a Millstone plan. Wait, why do people always discard this card? I don't even want that approach in my opening hand. I don't want that approach till like turn 7+. I'm very likely to find another. I've actually thought about that card quite a lot. I actually like that card quite a lot. Ooh. We have real cards in our hand now. I feel like we get to play Magic, friends. No, you've got me. Is it bad that I'm letting him have the hidden stockpile because I care more about this thing? Like, I don't really care that they have the hidden stockpile. The hidden stockpile by itself doesn't really bother me. It's the hidden stockpile in conjunction with a procession or in conjunction with a Lost Legacy that bothers me. Hey, the Cloud Cycle, what's up, man? Hello, wow, such dope. What is up? I almost want to counterspell that. I think I'm actually going to cast Glimmer first. Depending on what we draw off Glimmer, we may counterspell it. Alright, I'll counterspell it. Mainly because he's mana screwed and stuff. Still salty from the last Friday Night Magic. I 2-0'd all 3 rounds and got third. that would aggravate the crap out of me. Oh, sorry, I never finished my thoughts about this card. I've thought about it, but I think tapping my mana is actually a relevant enough thing that it makes me too sad. Huh. Does in fact sound like there should have been a 4th round. That is my opinion. Just gonna play the cat. It stops his aggression and lets us get aggressive. I don't want to cast Approach without having mana to protect from another Lost Legacy because we can't beat another Lost Legacy. That's fine. Like, another Lost Legacy just kills us. So basically, we're trying to protect ourselves from Lost Legacy. I'm not really sure that he's got another card I care about. He could in the end. Not sure. Don't care if he double blocks a cat. Metallurgic Summonings is pretty interesting too. It's another card that I kind of want to test. Do I care about him getting a bunch of tokens? I do not. Again, this negate's basically reserved for only counterspelling other negates and or lost legacies. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, JJ Still, thank you, man. I appreciate it a lot. I don't have a donation alert, but Mr. JJ Still just donated us $5 for our first 50 or our first 05 yesterday. Let me rephrase. Appreciate it, man. That is very generous and kind of you. You did not have to do that. I really need to get alerts. It's embarrassing that I don't have alerts. Up to 52 viewers, and I'm not even smart enough to have alerts. Still have this settle in our hands, so for the most part, I don't really care how many like tokens our opponent gets. It's just nothing that I care about. $1 per loss. Hey, wow, such Doge. What's up, man? I don't blame anybody. Like I said, I like the look of the deck myself too, or I wouldn't have played it. Oh, well, never punished. Whee! So like I said, these matches are exceptionally easy as long as they don't resolve Lost Legacy. Opponent should have never played Lost Legacy the turn he played it. He took a gamble and it didn't pay off. Like, we could have any censor or any negate there and this Lost Legacy doesn't resolve. Keep this in mind that if you're playing a deck with Lost Legacy, especially a deck that has negates, and your versus approach, wait until they've used 7 of their mana to cast an approach. And then just untap and play your Lost Legacy and protect your Lost Legacy with your Duress or your negate or whatever you have. Like, if he just kept all of these 3 cards for the turn I paid 7 mana, I lose. I lose very, very hard. Like, I have no chance to win that game. But that's just something to keep in mind. Do not play these spells early versus blue-white approach opponents. Because at some opponent, or at some time, the blue-white approach player always has to tap at least 7 mana. In this case, I waited for 9 mana even, because I had to play around him just having a second Lost Legacy. But that's the reason Lost Legacy is so good versus these matches. If you catch them tapped out or something, like say they slam a turn 2 Search for Azcanta, sure, you can play your approach then, but like, you never have to play the approach is what I'm saying. Anyway, so we're 2-1 today. We've beat 2 very good matches, and we've lost to 1 very bad match. That is kind of how Standard is at the moment. There is a little play in it, but for the most part, there's not a whole lot. We will play first. That's fair. Or you think you can kill them before they get to the other. We lost to mono red. We'll keep this hand. It's pretty good. We need to hit a couple lands. But I don't think I can mulligan a hand that's got this, because if we hit even 1 land, this is turned on. Yeah. Mulliganing and finding 3 lands and 6 cards, you're only like 62%. And since we already have the mix of all the spells we want, I don't want to roll the dice for a slightly better than a coin flip to get more lands. The Kefnet's fine in the sideboard. I've not found it necessary, but it is definitely a very reasonable card. It is exceptionally reasonable. I am from Eastern Kentucky, born and raised. In the hills of Appalachian is where I play. think we're like 40. If you've ever heard of like the Hatfields and the McCoys, I think we're about 45 minutes from where that took down or where that happened. That time frame may be wrong, but I think it's like 45 minutes to an hour from there. They had a nice Bill Paxton, Kevin Costner movie around that. No, not a turn 2 hidden stockpile. My grandmother just come in here and wanted to refer to me that, what was his name? Devil Ants or whatever. Somebody from that legend is actually buried about 20 miles from me. I have just been told about my area that I didn't know. Hey Ricky, did you know that the uh, cemetery across from the fire department is where a lot of them are buried? Grandma Ray for life. Apparently she can hear me, and I'm much louder than I thought I was. Oh, anyway, sorry, I got behind on chat. Let me read it out. Sir Fresh music here. Yes, that is what I was going for. I think the Gideons have more and more overperformed the more and more I've played them. I was reluctant to play Gideons for a while. A number of people suggested them, uh, but they've more and more overperformed, especially as the format slowed down. Right, like if the format was all, I don't know, like all blue black decks and stuff, I wouldn't want them. I guess as this format's fed up, I've liked them. No, it's still called KFC. All right, so I don't think we're going to win this game, but like surprisingly, this matchup is so good for us that we're not dead yet. Like this matchup is truly so good for us that even in this magical board state, we're not dead yet. If we draw land over the next 2 turns, we're probably still good enough to get there, which is absolutely amazing. Hey Necro, thanks for the follow, man. Man, we had a new subscriber and a new and a donator today. I guess I should add that. Huh. How do I make that look right? There we go. That looks reasonable. Laugh out loud, did you say it? I'm not sure what you're asking if I said. Man, we have a Texas Roadhouse here and I love it. Hey, Manso Memeham. What it is, homie. If he has a Verasca, we're, by the way, just screwed. We can beat most non-Verasca cards if we just draw another land, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gonna get 6, 7, and then he's got that thing. So I guess we'll just pass turn here. Pass turn and settle for 1,000,000? Nah. Yeah, pass turn, settle for 1,000,000 seems fine. So, all we need to do is draw 2 lands over the next 2 turns. And he'll not have a Vraska. If he has a Vraska, we probably can't beat it, but you saw how long we missed land drops, right? So missing land drops for that many turns, the fact that we even have a reasonable chance, much less any chance, is pretty bad. Or pretty good, depending on how you look at it. Land? That's not a land. Okay. And that was the one bad thing about not casting the Verdict last turn, or the Fumigate last turn, and saving the Supreme for this turn. It's like the one punishing part of that. He put a card on top, and he proceeded to let us gain extra life, so it about has to be a Vraska then. Can't think of what else he would put up there. Vraska would be problematic. Really need to draw like a lot of things here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright. He's beating us. Pretty badly, to be honest. If he uses the Sheffet Dooms, we're real dead. I have like one redraw if he uses it. Another Anointed Procession. Our opponent's really going off. Yeah, so opponent didn't come close to killing us with this play. I guess we'll cycle this then. Alright. You got us, boy. I saw 2 or my 4 negates here. I never get them with mana up. Let's just go ahead and always yield to that. He may have been playing around us having another Settled Wreckage. I won't necessarily say that's bad, but he could have just been playing around us having another Settled Wreckage. So this is going to be a great time to Fumigate as he doesn't have additional lands. If he has another start to finish, that could be bad. I guess we're going to keep this and put this one on the bottom. We're going to gain 1,000,000. Hey, we're back to 27 life. Oh god. It doesn't ever stop. I don't actually think we can win now. I think we're now officially too far behind to win. Actually, if he's going to keep making plays like that, maybe we can get there. Not actually sure how we come back and win from here. So 10, 15 creatures is 30 damage. Alright. Let's gain a bunch of life. No scry? I'm not sure what you're asking. Where's the young heifer? So he's putting on top. Whatever this card is, he likes it. We've now gone through three of our fumigates. We have over 30 life now, though, so like that's actually pretty good for us. Oh God, no! Scribe before fumigate, fair. So there's 8. Please forget to use your thing. Did not forget to use this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop to those as well. So 10, 20, 40. So 10, 20 plus 11. So 31. He can deal 62 damage? Yeah. We're in bad shape here, friends. It's legitimately not getting any better for us either. Guess we'll take our last fumigate. Alright, so I think it's finally time to kill that. I messed up. I was supposed to cast Fumigate first. Not casting Fumigate first was a huge play mistake by me. That was absolutely huge. Wow, I'm such a bad player. Like, I could have got rid of the Scry if I'd just done proper ordering. Wow, that was so bad. Oh, wow. Never mind. He didn't even sack him. Alright, well, we have 68 life now. Me and my opponent are both playing very poorly. I think opponents like me and he's just pressing the F6 button a lot and not paying attention. We still lose to a lot of things here. We lose to start to finish. We lose to a second chef at Dooms. We lose to a lot of different things. We lose to moto breaking. So 10, 20, 27, 31. Again. So in theory, oh boy, if we only had extra mana. If he doesn't have a start to finish, or if he doesn't have a second Dunes, we can win on board. If he has any of those things, we're dead. Don't have it? Don't you have it? Doesn't look like he has it. Bottom, bottom. Cellular Wreckage doesn't do anything there because, like, every turn, for the most part, he would have been able to scry, 10 times or whatever. He would have found another way to get a stockpile trigger. And he put it on top, so I guess we're dead. Can't imagine keeping any card that's not Chef at Dunes. So I think I only did one thing really bad this game, and since he didn't scry, it ended up not mattering. Hello, Diolaps. And there's a second Dunes, and we're dead. Well, that's disappointing. We came really close to winning, guys. Imagine if we hadn't got mana screwed for 400 turns. So close. That game was ridiculous. It's a pretty fun game, though. Sideboard those out, sideboard these in. Usually don't need all the settled wreckages. Unfortunately, we have to bring... Oh, we don't have to bring cats in, my bad. He doesn't have Scarab God, so we get to bring in Gearhulks instead of cats. The RIP is capitalized. And there's no exclamation mark in front of it. It's like this. There's cut a couple Supreme Wills, I think. Uh-oh. The S isn't capitalized. If you like intentionally did that one. That is how you do it, Ricky. Except, A, you forgot the I. It's... Here, I'll type it one more time. Whee! But 2, keep in mind that, Ricky, you're not a subscriber. It's not going to work for you. Anyway, back to sideboarding. Oh, why is this doing this? Come on. I don't know what other 2 cards to sideboard out. We can't beat Lost Legacy. We're not going to try to beat Lost Legacy. This sounds fun. Subscribe to No Man. That's fun. Your roommate subscribed, and that's good enough to me. He's my favorite anyway. You're not sexy enough, little Ricky. Red Rover, send us some number of lands on over. Our Revelation would be insane here. That is true. He's going to take this card anyway. So I'd rather just not give him the information of our hand. Rip. My computer sounds like we're dropping frames. Alright. Well, I'm not going to win a game without lands. No. Opponents drawn more hidden stockpiles than we have games or lands, which isn't even remotely accurate. I just didn't want him to see my hand. Land? Not a land. 2 lands in the top 13 in a 26 land deck's pretty unfortunate. Sometimes you just run poorly. probably not a favorite to beat these decks anyway. If he's playing anything like the New Zealand top 8 list, they run like 4 Lost Legacies post board anyway. Whee! So what do we get to discard? Oh, I know. Let's discard a 7-drop. Actually, I'm not going to discard a 7-drop. I'm going to discard this Torrential Gearhulk, but that's beside the point. Alright, so this game's over. Now, if he didn't have a procession, we could have still come back. Now that he has a procession, it is 100% over. Right on time, land. Alright, well, we can't beat the procession. Alright, so what is that, 2 and 2, or is that 1 and 3? Alright, 2 and 2. So we're playing for a pity chest, guys. By the way, for the 70 of you who may not know, you should click the follow button if you like what you're watching, and there's links below the stream to both my Twitter and my YouTube. Post all the streams on YouTube. You should follow the YouTube. It's free. It makes me smile. If you're watching from the YouTube, look in the description for links to like Twitch and Twitter and Decklab, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Let's just play Magic. We are up to the 26th land in this deck. I think we're going to cut one of these for a Hieroglyphic Illumination. Try what I believe it was Tick suggested. May have been somebody else, I apologize. I'm not very bright. They call me Cat, by the way. I don't think I'd welcomed you to the channel. Welcome. Not very bright, and I miss a lot of things because I get overwhelmed. 1 hour and 32 minutes? Wow, this is the fastest Blue-White Approach League ever. They typically take about 2 hours and 20. So unless this last match is excessively long. Hey, CAD2020, thank you for the follow. Alright, this hand's reasonable. We have a whole lot of lands and nothing to do with them. Evolving Wilds, is this the 3rd token match in a row? Tokens are incredibly fun to play, though. Probably going to cycle vat this game, so. It may not be a token match, too. It could be like Blue-Black Control or something. Anything with Fatal Push can reasonably play Evolving Wilds if they feel like it. Is it difficult to get used to Magic Online if you've been playing Paper Magic for a while? I'm considering about giving it a try. No, not really. It's a pretty easy game to get used to. Some of the hotkeys and pressing the buttons take a little while to get used to, but for the most part, it's roughly the same thing. You just click stuff. You don't have to put a lot of thought into it or anything. All the tokens, all the time. Did my GIF show up when I donated? Let me look. It did not. All I see is like a little dude with glasses that's not doing anything. Like a little green dude. Here in this channel, we think Magic Arena sucks and that nobody should ever buy it. That being said, we're really sad we didn't get into the beta. If we got into the beta, we could stream it and make fun of it. You should link the gift to the chat. Yeah, the trading aspect of the game is pretty nice, though that's not really much of a feature online. People don't get together and just trade online. Like, you just buy from stores and sell to stores. So he's playing Esper, and I don't want any of these cards. I guess we'll take the Supreme Will. I hope MTG Arena is better than I give it credit for, but I personally am an old, simple fuddy-duddy, and I love just this basic layout of Magic Online. There's, like, nothing I want them to change about this. I want them to fix the bugs a little more frequently. That's about it. Every game's going to have bugs. Everybody that's, like, excited about Magic Online or about MTG Arena are like, oh my god, we won't have all these bugs. No, there'll be bugs in that game too. It's just how quickly do they fix the bugs is the issue. The entire issue is how quickly do they fix the bugs. Don't care about him having the treasure map. Don't care about it at all. Care more about the hidden stockpile. Ha! We tricked our opponent into sacrificing a creature. We so good. We're actually just going to play the farmland now. We're getting pretty close to 7 mana, and we have the double approach, so the plan's literally just turn 7 approach, turn 8 approach now. Well, I lost 11 viewers when I made fun of MTG Arena, or MTG Arena. Maybe I should make less fun of things. Or maybe I shouldn't use a very high-pitched, annoying voice when I do it. Great. I can assure you, opponent, unless there's a Marionette Master coming, we could care less about what you're doing with that treasure map. Hi, have some lands. You're welcome. You can do it. Man, we just get blown out by Marionette Master here, and I'm going to whine, ain't I? I really think the Esper token decks are incredibly, or not the Esper token, the token decks in general are incredibly fun to play. I think if you've not played them, you're kind of missing out. You should give them a try. Just to see if we get a tap land. That's not a tap land. Treasure map's really good. He's gonna get about a million extra mana here too. We're gonna get wrecked by Marionette Master. Yeah, don't care about that. Somebody has turned on a weed eater outside beside my room or whatever. So I apologize profusely if you can hear it. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't go out there and stop them. Huh. They seem to have walked away. Well, now they're just not doing their job. How dare they? I feel like there's more weeds to be ate. We'll take random untapped land. and just hope that he doesn't have a Marionette Master. If he does, he's got us. We've dropped 0 frames today. Might be a record. Might be a record. Hey JJ, you should link that GIF so we can see it. I really need to get that alert thing to work. Wait a second. We're not dead yet. He's tapping mana and it's not double black. Whew. Feels good. So you have to dodge Lost Legacies, Duresses, Negates. The post-board games versus the Esper are much more difficult than versus Abzan. Especially when they're playing Treasure Mapperino. Because that card's pretty sweet. Luckily, a lot of the Esper builds aren't running the Lost Legacies in the sideboard, or they're only running 1 or 2 copies. Just in case he has Censor. F6 has been pressed. Is it good enough? We're only playing 3 authorities, by the way, so it's kind of odd that this is now multiple games in a row where we've drawn all 3. Or not in a row, but multiple games in a league, rather. Alright, so sideboarding. We want all of this stuff. We unfortunately do not want the Gear Hulks because of Scarab God's power. Take out these things. We can bring in 1 cat. We can bring in 2 cats. And we just have to hope the 2 cats are good enough. If he has Lost Legacy. Sure, usually not. Huh. The computer lagged real bad there. Yeah, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at 1,000,000 lands, and we don't think that's good enough. No blue sources? It's also not good enough. The Search for Azcanta is already a mulligan, and the Jace's Defeat's not always good. Alright, this hand's actually pretty good. I'm actually going to keep the Negate on top, too. I like how the card disappeared, and then it still had the menu for me to put it on top. It's kind of hilarious. But yeah, on the draw, mulliganing twice while being landlight, this is going to be a difficult game. Especially if they have like turn 2 stockpile. Which, why wouldn't they have turn 2 stockpile? Our opponents had it in how many games in a row? It's like 44% to have on the play. Turn 2, I think. Or is it turn 1? It's 44% to have like a 4 of turn 1. Sorry. The math's like different. Oh well. It's not that. Doesn't matter that much. All we want to do is hit our lands. Hit our lands and dodge Lost Legacy. That is the goal. Everybody got quiet now. Red Rover, send those creatures on over. Alright, well we have to cycle something at this point. Not real happy about this. Would like to keep both Lost Legacies, but we can't afford to miss the land drop. Can't F6 here because we'd actually need to counterspell start to finish if he has it. Not happy about needing to counterspell that. But him not flipping the Legion's landing's kind of important. And that's game, folks. We're going to keep playing, though, to see more how he's sideboarded, try to get some information on how many Lost Legacies and stuff are in the deck. There's a non-zero chance that we can kill him with Rivulet. He can draw really bad, and we just kill him with one of the cats we brought in. The odds of us winning go down dramatically now, though. Like, drastically have gone down. It's always interesting to play these games when... That's unfortunate. He put a card on top. We're hoping to dodge like 1 or 2 turns of him having action. I guess he left that on top? I would never have left that on top. That's kind of awkward, I think. That's a pretty good one. Took the Settle the Wreckage as well. It's like the card in my hand I considered the least valuable at this point. It's kind of odd that he took it, I think. We'll take the Search for Azcanta. Search for Azcanta can potentially flip next turn, especially if we have to use the negate on anything. We do have a fairly low life total though, so we have to be kind of protective. I would cast negate on most spells that the negate would resolve on at this point. It's unfortunately not one of them. The second champion in his graveyard, which is pretty nice. Attack down 2 down to 8, and then he's got an attack for 6 the next turn, so we're not dead, but he does get to flip the Legion's Landing, which comes pretty close to beating us. Kinda need both of those, don't I? Alright, it's gonna be a problematic game to win. We'll literally put any card in our graveyard next turn. Don't care what the card is, it goes to the graveyard. Oh wow, I guess I can't put that one in a graveyard, but I kind of have to. So we have an issue here is when he spends 7 mana. Wait, why in the hell did that go over there? I literally didn't click that. When he spends 7 mana to start buying back this Champion of Wits, he's going to bury us in card advantage, and it's going to be very hard for us to maintain. Current goal is to hold on as long as we can. Because we are seriously behind at the moment. Wonder if the Twitch chat's just broke or if nobody cares. Hello, big guy. Well, thank you. Opponent draws a random 8 cards this turn. Really need to draw another Fumigate. Put multiple Embalm cards in his graveyard. Actually have to cycle this, I think. Another Search for Azcanta? That doesn't really do much. So what are the odds I'm going to have to cast a Negate this turn? Probably fairly high. Which means maybe I should just slam Azcanta, but I guess we're not going to. Well, like I said, it was fairly high. Maybe I should have just played the search. We're pretty close to dead on board here. Kind of an interesting attack. Guess we don't die if we do that, but... I think this gets us one more turn, probably. Lets us stay at 5, and he only has a little bit to attack with the following turn. Oh. Well, I missed that. We were dead anyway, but I definitely missed that. That was pretty bad. Kind of wish I got to untap because I wanted to use the Rivulet on him to look at his graveyard a little bit more, but... yeah, I missed that. That was stupid. Stupid and not something I'm super concerned about because I was dead anyway. I don't really know how to sideboard to win these matches. Feels like we're just too far behind if they get their card off. Did I present with 61 cards last turn game? I think I presented with 61 cards last game. Huh. Well, that was pretty dumb of me. Wow. I'm an actual idiot. we have a mix of lands and spells. We even have one of these that we don't even want in our hand. We're certainly going to need to draw some lands and potentially something like a Glimmer or something to get into this game. Like, these type of cards aren't particularly good here. Probably could have sideboarded another Settle out. Yeah. Current game plan, draw runner, runner, land. That's good enough to counterspell. You know what that card's not? That card's not a land. That's probably us losing then. No fear. That's what opponent had. Yeah. Well, if opponent has a Lost Legacy and or negates, I don't think we can win this game. I guess there's some reasonable world where he never draws anything that he can use the Anointer on. Put both of these in our hand. Unfortunately, we have to let him keep the Anointer because we have all of the cats in our hand. That's fine. This hand's weak enough we can get there with the cats, but this hand has to be pretty weak for that to happen. Do we get to draw a card while discarding an almost useless approach, which is pretty nice. Yep, Lost Legacy, very good versus the deck that only wins with one card. Well, there's another cast out. That does something, I guess. We'll go ahead and play one of these this turn. It lets him resolve a hidden stockpile or something if he has it. However, if he just had a Lost Legacy and he pulled the cat, we were dead anyway, so. Seems fine to do it in that manner. Like there's some world where just playing a cat this turn, playing a cat next turn can win. Especially if we draw like a negate. It's an actual decent world if we draw a negate where that can happen. Great. So he has a Sacred Cat, which is, by the way, is a terrible card and a card you should sideboard out in this match. But it's good here. It is certainly good here. He gets to get 4 tokens now. Yeah, we still have a chance. Like, this is not over by a long shot. He has a second hidden stockpile. It's probably over, though. Well, at least if he can protect the second hidden stockpile. I think I actually have to counterspell that, too. And we have to hope that we just draw cats and start scratching and get some fever going on. Because we're pretty far behind here. Like, our hand is now inconsequential. It's all what's in his hand that matters. He wants to trade his entire board for this cat. We're not happy about it, but we'll accept it. It doesn't really get better. If we did draw a cast out, we're not going to waste it on a cat anyway. We still have a reasonable board. But we're definitely behind now. We definitely have to draw like another cat or a third cast out or a third cat. Like, we have to find something. It'd be nice if his hand was just like all negates or something. And that's game, boys. I guess it's not game. We can draw another cast out. That's not another cast out, so we have no out now. Alright. Well, that was a good game. We went 2-3 today. We beat an Abzan token match. We lost to an Abzan token match. Sorry. We beat an Esper token match. We lost to an Esper token match. We lost to an Abzan token match. And we beat Teamer and we beat Red Deck wins. Pretty standard. We lost to a bunch of Lost Legacies and a fast deck. It's kind of what this deck does. It's why I think this deck's not super well positioned at the moment, even though I do believe our build's one of the more tuned approach lists. But we really just want to get paired versus... Why do I have to stream so early? It's not early. We really just have to... my Twitch won't work, so I can't even find somebody to host. We really just want to play versus mid-rangey decks with this. Alright, come on, Twitch. So we're going to try to find somebody to host. Oh, I guess I can pull up the deck list. Game 1's comically easy versus the token decks, but Game 2 and 3 are extremely hard. Total MTG streaming modern. He's the only person streaming. I guess we'll kill a few more minutes and actually not log off. We'll finish my train wreck draft and then I'll log off, I guess. Popping everything back up where I can see everything. I can't change the stream title. I don't know. Yeah, we don't watch Caleb. We'll finish my train wreck draft. And then we'll get out of here. I know people don't like draft, but... So it was a train wreck. We got a pack one, pick one spider, but there was just no spider stuff in the entire draft, and we just kept forcing it. We didn't really care. We just made it happen. And it did not work out very well. Alright, well this hand's miserable, so let's keep it. We have more blue sources than anything in this deck. Mana Gargle is an actual bomb, and we have a mana producer. This card's kind of already a mulligan though, and we need double blue for both of the blue spells in our hand. The Storm Token guy, I mean. I don't know what that is, who that is, or what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Also, modern's the devil. And I assume if you're saying the word storm, that it's probably modern. Alright, well, we drew another 5-drop, which we're a little heavy on 5s. But we'd have double mana producer in our deck. Oh, and it's a Garruk. Alright, next game. Mana Screwed versus a removal spell. This even makes Death Touchers, so like we can't even attack it. We draw an island exactly next turn, and we hit like 2 creatures on this. We can pressure this, but that's about it. Not looking particularly good here. But like I said, this was a train wreck of a draft. I don't expect to win with it. No. Well, I certainly don't expect to win with it. Alright, next game. Not sideboarding anything. My sideboard's too bad. Could bring in the Ranger's Gal, but I've kind of given up with this draft anyway. Could bring in the Bramble Crush to beat kill the Garruk. Not necessarily worried about the Garruk though. Yeah, well, this hand's terrible too. Let's keep it. This hand's actually not that bad. It's very reasonable. We already have the Black Source in our hand. We have a Twisted or a Dream Twist, which we're likely to hit at least a creature in the top 6. And we did. We hit a creature. Drew a Spider Spawning. Alright, so he's attacking us. That's probably good, unless he has the wolf to play on 2. Any of the wolves on 2 would be nice here. That's probably not good for us. We hit 0 creatures with that one. Yeah, well, we have to take a bad gamble. If he has a Garruk, he has a Garruk. But, like, we hit 0 creatures, we have 0 action. He's going to be able to start casting relevant spells. He's got Devil Pilgrim. What in the hell is happening in his pod? Oh, what do you know? Another Garruk. It's pretty hard to beat Mythics in this format. Especially when we flood one game and we draw no creatures the next game, really. But like I said, this deck is a train wreck, so we don't expect to win with this deck. Would have liked to actually get to play a little, but... we just finished up with Approach and it won't let me change the title. This card's stone unplayable. We just failed with Approach. We went 1 and 2 versus various Esper decks. We lost to Mono Red and we beat Teamer, which is about what we expect when we play Approach. We're just finishing this draft up because I didn't see anybody worth hosting. But anyway, we pack 1, picked 1 Spider Spawning and tried to force the deck, but the tools just were not there. Probably not going to draft all day. The EV of these drafts are terrible. 2 and 1 doesn't break even. Alright, we're dead. Yeah, we're not going to beat that. I know how opponent has so many cards and not enlisting lands. But alright. So, do we lose $4 or do we lose 12 with our train wreck of a draft? This deck is one of the worst decks that I've ever gotten in this format. There just wasn't any of the 1/4s. There wasn't many of these. There was only one deranged assistant. There was no civilized scholars. There didn't really seem to be anything that I could audible into either. Like, nothing seemed open. We did get a pack-free travel prep, but like, we opened it. We just took it because the pack was unplayable, but yes. What do you know? We hit 0 creatures with our first Dream Twist. I think we're playing like 15. So like missing creatures is actually kind of unlucky. Might be playing 14 though. To be honest, I don't remember. I drafted this deck yesterday at some point. Just for the F6 value because I don't care. Hey, we've now hit 1 creature in 6 cards. Did hit the spider spawning. Our opponent literally played 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop though, so. Our first wall. That doesn't seem to be very profitable unless you have a counterspell or something to stop it from coming back next turn. Excuse me. Take it. So how do we beat these decks? Opponent casually has a perfect curve. Not a perfect curve, I mean, they played a 1-drop on 2 and this on 4, but now they have this that they can bounce. Opponent had a pretty ridiculous hand with a bunch of mediocre cards. Well, a bunch of mediocre cards and a bomb. I don't have anything we can really buy back here and use either, do we? So I don't think we actually have any outs here. None of that matters. Killing their enchantments isn't what matters. Beating Lost Legacy is what matters. The problem with beating the tokens decks is any deck that your backup plan of your cats and stuff can't win, then you can't beat Lost Legacy. And we're dead on board. And if they don't have Lost Legacy, none of those cards beat you. So you don't have to have them for that match. I mean, it's fine. I'm again not sideboarding. My decks are train wreck and I've already given up, so I don't really care. It's just Lost Legacy. You need to find a way to be able to beat them without actually casting Approach. Which, from so far, I've not found how to do. We will certainly play first. Hey, we actually got a good hand. We got a good hand with our train wreck deck. We're still not going to be able to beat his 5/4 flyer. They fixed the deranged assistant bug, which is kind of nice. Fixed bugs are always nice. Wait, what? Yeah, so he killed my thing? Great. Wait, what am I being salty about? I've not been salty. What was I salty about? If I was salty, I did not mean to be. I'm in pretty high spirits right now. I'm like in a really good mood. I did not mean to be salty if I was. I think there was one of these in, what do you call it? Oh, Lord, I can't think of what it's called. The set before Effer Revolt. Shadows over Innistrad or whatever. I believe there was a card similar to this with Madness in that format that was pretty nice, but I don't remember. It's got 2 Victim of Nights. Opponent's deck's great. Or did he play something to get the Victim of Night back and I didn't see it? I'm not sure. Too far away from the keyboard to actually see all these cards, which is why you see me constantly like clicking things. Oh, he played a Forbidden Alchemy. That's what he did. I actually can't see my graveyard here either. I don't think I have anything with flashback except for this. My deck's terrible though. We're playing such all-stars in my deck as Boneworm. The mystical, magical Boneworm. Rip. That card's not very good either. Certainly crushing us though. I think we're just dead on board for the most part. He's got this and a Silent Departure in his graveyard. Hey, what? Seems like you could have made a better play. I have a Memory's Journey, but I don't really want to. I don't think I want to. I think I want to shuffle anything in right now. I think we just want to hope we top deck a Spider spawning. It's 1 in 14. We have a fairly reasonable chance. We're kind of dead on board if we don't hit it. Could hit another land and we won't be dead on board. Alright, well, not dead on board, I guess. So we're going to have exactly one more draw step to find a Spider spawning. He has a Silent Departure right here, so like he can bounce this and we take 1,000,000. Yep. Red Rover, send that Spider spawning on over. I don't think we win even if we hit it. I think we're just dead anyway. Oh, did chat break? GG opponent. Yep, like I said, this deck was a train wreck. Knew we were going to lose from the moment we drafted this deck. This deck was just like very, very, very bad. We had way too many 5s. We had no enablers. There wasn't really any enablers in the pool. I could have played this, but our creature count was low already. We had like 14 creatures, a 15th that we could board in. Our deck was so weak we couldn't even play our mana fixers, I didn't think. But apparently it's fixed. But anyway, so we're going to hop off here now. As we have train wrecked a draft, train wrecked a blue-white approach match. Why is there 41 cards in my deck? There should not be 41 cards in my deck. I did not save this with 41 cards. I am confident of it. Alright, but anyway, also not worried about that. Like I said, so who's playing? Nobody's playing Standard. All I want to do is host somebody that's playing Standard. Newmont's not playing Standard, of course. Why would he? We're down to 35 viewers. Alright, I'll host this guy. I've never watched him before, and their name says Jar Jar. So, I assume it's going to be entertaining. Check the tape. I can't change the title. It's broke. Twitch is messed up today. It will not let me change the title. But either way, we're logging off anyway. So we're gonna host this dude. He's playing Standard. And take care, everybody. Well, that didn't work at all. That didn't work at all. Ha! We're smart. Later, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with more Standard.